right. Happy Thursday night, viewers. I am author Siera London, and with my co host, writer Michelle Ingrid, we are Women on Words. So, welcome to the show. Tonight, our special guest is author MJ Granberry. Welcome.
Hi, thank you.
Welcome.
You are so welcome. So, we are thrilled to have you here on the show tonight. And you are kind of like our summer guest. Like, we've been off the air for a couple of months since June.
Oh,
So, you're
I'm
like our,
special.
yes, you are. You got us back out there. You got us back on the air. And I have to thank Alexis Roach for reaching out to me. So, tell us, MJ, who you are, how long you've been writing, and what you write.
Okay, I am MJ Granberry. I am Las Vegas's resident romance writer. At least that's how I like to think of myself. I don't know how many else are out there. I actually have an MFA in creative writing, so I've been writing for a long time.
Okay.
However, I've been writing contemporary romance for probably 2.5 years.
Okay.
And that's after, kind of doing everything else. I was like,
Okay.
always wanted to write. And then I was like, no, can't do
Okay.
that. And then I finally, after my girlfriends were like, okay, can you please stop emailing us stories? Can you please just go ahead and publish? I was like, okay, I could do that. And it turned out I liked it most of the time. Most of the time I like it.
Okay.
So that's me in a nutshell.
Okay. So it was your girlfriends who encouraged you to take that next step and share your books with the world. Mm-hmm. And like, how did that feel? Like, tell us what that first book was.
Okay, so my first book was Exquisitely Broken. Okay. And I had written probably half of that book, and my girlfriends wanted the end of it.
Okay.
And I was just like, I don't have time to write. I have to do this. I have to do that. I don't have time. And one of my closest friends said, why don't you just settle down and do this? You've always wanted to do it. Mm-hmm. So I wrote a Black couple, which I hadn't seen. They were not urban. They were contemporary. Mm-hmm. On top of being contemporary, they were rock star, CEO of a hotel. Mm-hmm. So they were very non-conventional.
I like it.
And I loved that. So getting it out there was a different story. That was, that's the part of writing that's hard for me, right? Okay. My girlfriends love me. So they're going to go, everything you do is great. Right. Right. Yeah. So then I put it out and I got, this isn't realistic. I don't know these Black people. You're not writing for Black people. And I was like, what?
Wow.
But I am. That's who I am at my core. That's who my girlfriends are at my core. So what? So that was a little daunting. And I went, I'm never writing again. Okay. And 3 books later.
I can see that Michelle has something to say
about
that. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Because I'm going to tell you something. That is not the first time that we've heard an author of color come on the show and talk about a literary work that they've put out there in the world. Hey, Donna, we're so happy to have you here on the show. She says, Donna Granberry says, great last name. Great name. But that's not the first time we've heard that romance for women of color by a woman of color is not received well by women of color.
Yeah.
So, Michelle, what's your questions or what do you have to say?
Okay, I'm going to start by saying that I absolutely love the fact that you have characters who are in a setting that is not necessarily the expected urban setting.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Siera and I, we kind of run in the same circles, and our circles are of women who are looking for love and they are highly educated. They
Yep.
live in the suburbs. They
Mm-hmm.
come from families that are college degree to the nth.
Yes.
They've
Mhm.
dated people who come from worlds where, it's society's, big players. And I love that about your
Yeah.
series. And so I love it. I love the fact that these characters met at a concert. I
Mhm.
love the trope of the big brother's friend messing around with the sister. Sierra
Yes.
knows how much I love this trope in everything. So the fact that you get Vegas so right. And I'm a New Yorker. I don't know
Okay.
Vegas except to like fly in, spend the weekend, and have a
Mm-hmm.
great time. So tell me a little bit. I know you were raised in Vegas. Tell us a little bit about
Yes.
your experience with the Vegas hotel scene and how you bring that realism to your books.
Okay, so I was born and raised here. I was in Vegas when there was 300,000 people here. I'm that person that's like, oh my God, I can't get anywhere across town in 15 minutes anymore. What's happening? I'm that person. So for me, as far as hotels go, I went to a private school. All of my friends, for the most part, their parents were execs at hotels. I think I was telling you when I had prom parties and things like that, it was high roller suites at hotels.
Ooh.
So I grew up in a world where we were around people with money. But in Vegas, it's not like New York money. It's not Detroit money. It's not Firestone or Ford. It's like skeevy. My dad was a gambler and his grandpa, like, no joke. One of my best friends growing up in high school, her dad owns one of the biggest strip clubs here. So at 18, it was like, hey guys, we're going to the strip club.
Oh,
Okay.
okay. That's a different kind of high school celebration.
Right.
High
So
school
it
musical.
was like the money here was a little different. It wasn't respectable. Like people didn't come here and go, oh, the respectable upper crust of Las Vegas. It was like, oh, you got your money where? Ooh.
Okay.
But it's what I grew up doing. It's what I grew up around. So I wrote this world where the main character in the new book, her father runs a casino. Her brother runs a casino. And her brother is crooked as hell.
Okay.
So, and that kind of springboards into the next series where he funded the casino with dirty money. Happens. That's nobody has money to run casinos like that. So
I like it.
And they are Black people. I think there's a line in the third book where she says, my mom says that we are Black with discretion. It depends on who we're around.
Wow.
Okay. Right?
Wow.
So, code switching.
Yes.
Right?
A very real thing.
So that's, for me, I grew up in that world where it was a balance of church and casino and gambling. And you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I love the way you say that, church, casino, and gambling.
It really was. You know what I mean? Like it was
in that
nothing
order
for us to see like the pastor's car at the casino.
Okay.
And you're like, and my grandmother was like, you know what pastor in there doing, don't you?
You know what's so funny about
Right.
that? You know what's so funny about that? I can remember when I moved from the South. I'm from Jacksonville, Florida, and I moved to Virginia. My job took me there, and going to a church, and the pastor was like, bring your offerings to the altar, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, for all of y'all feeling guilty, I know there's some casino money here. I know it's some dice money here. All right. I know there's some bet money here. That's why we bless it all. That's
we even have, like, no joke, you can Google it. We have an organization here that's called Hookers for Jesus. And they are reformed prostitutes that go out and and my mom was like, they couldn't come up with a better name. And I was like, well, but the intention is there.
right.
Clear, right? Really clear.
There you
The
go.
intention is there. They're there to help these ladies. And they come from that life.
Yes.
So it was, I love Vegas. I love it. I've been all over. I've been San Francisco, where I went to college. My family's from New Orleans. I've lived there. I've been all over.
Girl.
Yeah. And I hate New York City. I'm like, oh my God, it's so many people and they're loud. Oh my God. Yes.
Okay.
Wounded.
All right.
Yes.
I know. So we have a lot to unpack.
I was scared. I was scared in New York. I was scared.
Okay. So, all right. Well, I'm going to take this back because I love this world that you've created. And I love the diversity of setting. And I love the diversity of character. I love that it's not your stereotypical hero and heroine. I love that it's not the stereotypical billionaire or millionaire that's got his money, with maybe a more legitimate or honorable business, because that's real world, right? Like we like to see ourselves and stories that we're familiar with in print. So, so I love that. So tell us a little bit about, there's 3 books in this series. So start with book 1. Who's the hero and the heroine in that book? And why should we read it? Go ahead.
Okay, so first book is Exquisitely Broken, is Jake and Sin. Her name is Sinclair. They call her Sin through the book. That book, to me, sets the foundation for everything in the other 2 books. Jake, I love. Other people don't love him. I don't know why. He is difficult. He is difficult.
Okay.
He is a reformed cheater. I put that out there all the time because a lot of people are like, it is amazing. Like, I did not write cheat scenes in the book, and they are like, he is a cheater. He cannot win.
Player, I'm here for it.
Yeah.
So I think it lays a really good foundation. You get introduced to all of the characters in that first book. One thing that I love about the book and I love about the character is he is begging. Girl, he is 1960, since I lost my baby, begging through that book.
I like that.
And that's how you reform a player.
I'm like, I miss books, where you actually had, please, baby, please take me back. I'm sorry. And he is begging. So I love that. As far as my 3 books, it was my first book. So I personally think that it's not as well written. I've thought about going back and just redoing certain things just because I think I've found my stride as a writer now.
Okay.
But I still think that it's an awesome story. If you just want a straightforward love story, right? It's this person who made a bad decision. He made a very bad decision. He knows he made a bad decision. And he doesn't justify it. He's like, I'm sorry. Can we move on now? I'm sorry. I said it. So, and I think that that's something that really bothers people. I actually interviewed a lot of my male friends, like, how would you deal with this? How would you approach this? And one thing that they all said consistently was, I will say that I'm sorry. I will take the L, but I'm not going to be beat down with it. Right?
Yeah.
Like, if you can't forgive me, then you can't forgive me. And that's something that I wrote in the book. It's like at a point where he goes, hey, we all know what I did. We all know.
And don't we love that? Like, we say we love that in a man. We say that, like, as a woman, we say that we want a man that will be honest with us. And that if he makes a mistake, that he'll admit it. But then I have found sometimes, like, these things that we say we wrote in reality, if you see it in a book, you be like, no, rip him a new one, like shred his back. And
girl, not like that. Not like that.
Okay, not like that. Okay, I'll bring it down. But I feel like you've tackled some really difficult things, like to bring a book, like your first book in a series, where not only are the characters like kind of atypical, but then you have a hero that admits to his cheating and owns it. So you have to tell us, and you don't have to give it all away, but how does the heroine what's this meet cute like?
Okay, so it's actually my favorite part in the book.
Always.
It really is, because she gets a residency at his hotel. Okay. She doesn't know it's his hotel because he's a CFO. There's no reason for her to know, right? You deal with the entertainment director. You don't deal with the CEO. So he shows up and he's like, hey, girl, hey. And she like, are you serious? So she slaps him at it's a press release where they're introducing this hot new band that's going to be at the casino, and they're going to be great. And she slaps him in front of everybody. Ooh. And then it's like the whole, her people are like, whoa, what's going on? His people are like, whoa, what's going on? And so they have to come together to do a press conference. And the hotel is like, look, you damaged our brand. Fix it. Because she's like, I can't see him. I can't be. They're like, no, you will see him. You will be around him. Okay. You damaged my brand. You're going to fix it.
Girl, you know I did that show. We did that show.
I know.
We have been like buying tickets to that show.
I know. Does exquisitely broken me in the title? Like, is that a metaphor? Like she broke his nose or something like that? Or no, he not.
No, actually, it's the title of the song in the book. So she wrote a song about everything that he did. So she's like exquisitely broken. And he's like, that song, ugh, God, the whole world. You know what I mean? Like, and he's like, the whole world got to see my shit. Like, the hell? So yeah. So that's where the title comes from.
So tell us about the couple in the second book, because I know that, I know where we are in the third one, but give our viewers a little bit about the second book before we jump in on this third one.
Okay, so once again, I go in, non-conforming.
We love it.
Male book. Her best friend in the band is secretly gay. Nobody knows. He starts dating her security officer.
Okay.
So that one hidden, right? Exquisitely hidden. And it's about him coming to terms with not only who he is, but what he feels he deserves in life. Because his role has always been, just to give you a little bit of background, Adam, who is the lead character in the second book, and Sin grew up together, but they grew up in the foster care system together. She is Black, he is white. And he's like, she's the only family I have. I don't have anybody else. So his band is his family. And how he made that okay, like how he found his place, let me say it that way, in the world, is taking care of them. Well, they're all moving on now. She has a man, they're growing up. They don't need him anymore. And he doesn't quite know who he is without the title of caretaker.
I like him already.
He finds this person, and this person takes care of him. It's the person that allows him to be hurt and to be wounded and to cry, literally cry. And so he finally starts to find his stride, not only with his sexuality, but just with who he is in his life. And I can tell you honestly, I wrote scenes in that book that I cried like hardcore.
I love that. Those are like
I
the
love
best
that
scenes.
Character.
I
love him.
Best scenes.
I love that you didn't hide his story like at the end of the series. You didn't hide it in a little. I love that you put it right smack dab in the middle. And so now we got to get to Jake's sister. And how Jake is, I mean, for those who haven't read the series, we meet Jake in book one. So tell us about, tell us about how his little sister's story ends up being, that.
So he depends on his little sisters. I told you that he comes from money. dirty money, but still money.
Money's money.
And
Dream.
his mom is old school Southern. Like, who is this you bringing in my house? Why is she here? Yes, ma'am.
That's me.
her.
That's me.
That's her.
Hoppo, who this woman?
Yes, yes. So, that's his mama. So his only kind of connection with his family is Jessica.
Okay.
And that's his sister, Jacob, Jessica, right? So she is still younger. She is 10 years younger than him, but she's the anchor for him to his family. She's the one that pulls him back in. She's the one that keeps him solid. And she's growing up. So she's in this world and she's meeting young men and she's like, oh, I like him and he looks nice and so on and so forth. It gets a little complicated because her brother is a little protective. He's growly and snappy and she doing all the stuff that she's not supposed to be doing. All the stuff. With the bandmates. Yes.
We do love Daniel.
Daniel is a dirty talking something or another. He don't take a whole lot seriously, but he take her seriously.
We love that.
That was my thing. I was like, because, you know, through the first two books, he's like the comic relief, right? He's the person that breaks the ice. He's the person that makes you laugh. And in this book, I was like, he still needs to be that person, but how do you put that in a sex scene? That was fun for me. I laughed so hard because at some point he said, did she kegel me? Oh, she did. She kegeled me. That's what's up.
Okay. Okay. That means he's attentive. That's what that means.
Yes.
That's an attentive man. Okay. And if he can feel that pelvic floor contract, he's attentive.
Okay. This went from like a family show to like.
Okay. Break it down. Okay. I tell y'all it's been a while since we've been on the air.
Okay. All right. So I like I said before, I love the trope of a brother's friend and a little sister. And I wanted to know, like, how did you go about writing this story and making it feel authentic for there to be that relationship between the two guys that would make it okay? So like, you know, like how did you go about making sure that you felt like you had that true authenticity of, I mean, it's hard for a man to watch his little sister be with a man he knows, especially.
And for this particular story, she's more, Sin is more the friend of Daniel.
Right.
Versus Jake.
Mm-hmm.
Jake is struggling. He struggles. He's like, are you serious? He finds out at the birth of his children that his sister is sleeping with the bandmate. And he's like, oh, hold on. Bring that back.
Yeah.
What? And the way that I wanted to show at each step of their attraction, right? At each step, he was present. Both of them are present. So you see them the first time they meet. You see them when they do a little something at a pool party. You always see Jake and Sin where they're making a conscious decision to go behind their back and do X, Y, and Z. So it's like you can't hide that. Whereas Sin is much more receptive because she knows him. She's like, yeah, he's silly, but he's a good guy. At his heart, he's a good guy. Jake is more like, okay, so let me get this straight. Him, of all the men this one. And Sin is the one that kind of goes, yeah, it is what it is. You got to let it go.
Yeah.
So at every step, she makes a conscious choice to, I think the first time is at her brother's wedding.
We love
Yes.
her for it. We love her.
Okay. All right. So, okay, we only have about 5 minutes left.
Oh.
So I know. So, I'm sure y'all can already tell that this is a fun series. Okay, a Sin City Tale, 3 books. Which it don't sound like enough.
It's
For
not?
all. No, it's not. So tell us what's next. What are you working on?
Next is the Naked City series. Naked City, Connor comes in from the Sin City series. He is Jake's partner. He is just as dirty. And a new person comes in town and is trying to take his place. And Connor is like, nah, bruh, I don't see that happening. And just to give you an idea, his first scene, I think it is, his first scene, he's like, I got to take off this suit. I got my Timbs. I got my jeans on. We finna go stomp somebody out. Like, he is very much duality. Connor is, this is what you see, but this is what you get, right? And he's really fun to write because he's biracial. So he uses it to his advantage. He uses the fact that he looks a certain way, makes certain people comfortable. And then he flips it. Exactly. And then he flips it to do what he needs to do. Connor is in a pivotal scene in Exquisitely Yours. There is a shooting scene that kind of goes
through too much away.
All 3 books. Oh, no. It doesn't give anything away. And you find out that part of that is Connor. The shooting is all centered around Connor. Yeah. And this answers all of those questions.
Okay, so now I'm afraid because I want to ask about the love interest for Connor, but I don't want it to be anything that gives anything away. So what can you tell us, pique our interest in this next series? Just a little bit.
Okay, so I told you guys it was a dark series. It's a little, kind of grimy. Connor, his love interest, her name is Adrienne. Okay. And she is from New Orleans. Okay. She does work for a crime syndicate, and she is also in law enforcement.
Okay. Uh-oh.
So, yeah.
Yes. Yay.
Bravo already. Bravo. Bring it on.
Yeah, this is our catnip. This is straight up our 2021 catnip. Siera and I, this is our catnip. Girls got to vote in the law enforcement department.
Yes.
Okay. So, well, we knew with a series title, anything with naked in it, we expected it to be kind of grimy and dirty. So
we're here for it.
We're all here for it. So where can we find you, either in person this year or on social media? Wait a minute. Donna says, will book 3 be on Audible?
Yes. Book 3 is coming on Audible in probably about 2 weeks.
Yeah, I think I saw that.
About 2 weeks.
Okay. Love it. Thank you for that question, Donna. Now, where can we find you, MJ?
I'm everywhere. I am everywhere. I live in Vegas. I don't have any signings. I don't have any signings until 2022.
Okay.
I will be in Chicago at the I can't think. It's an audiobook one. I can't think of what it's called. I'm sorry. So I will be there. And I will be at Authors in the Bluegrass in October in Lexington, Kentucky.
Could you say your website and your handles for Instagram and Facebook or wherever they can follow you?
Yeah, my website is authormjgranberry.com. On Facebook and Instagram, I'm author MJ Granberry, and on Twitter, I am just MJ Granberry. They wouldn't let me put an author.
Okay. Well, I will say that I will be in Vegas for 20 books to 50K in November. I would love to sit down and talk with you.
Oh, awesome. Yay.
We can meet up. We can do the show live.
Down. I am so down. I have a speakeasy that is great. It's like a speakeasy. You have to go through a door. You got to text the number, and nobody ever wants to go with me. So
yes, please.
I will.
Okay, I may have to jump on this trip.
Okay.
I will set reservations. It is so much fun.
Can I wear a pinstripe suit and a tie?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
I know who I'm calling next time I'm in Vegas.
I know, right?
Absolutely. I know all the cool stuff. I know all the cool
You know
places.
she does, right?
Yeah, we have a date. We have a November date. Y'all heard it here. MJ Granberry is taking Siera London to a speakeasy
Easy.
in Sin City.
Yes.
We love it.
Yes.
Okay. All right. If I disappear now, y'all come looking for me.
I go there.
I wouldn't let nothing happen.
I
I'll call
appreciate
Boo Boo
that.
and them.
I know.
Mm-mm.
All
You
right.
in a local girl, you
And Jay,
safe.
Adam, and Daniel, and Sid. Yeah, all of that.
I got my people. We fine. We
We
fine.
got peoples. We got
Mhm.
peoples.
Mhm.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us on the show. Any final words that you want our audience to know before we sign off for tonight?
No, just thank you for having me. I really love talking to people. If you can't tell, I'm a talker.
You are too.
And yeah, just find me anywhere. I always try to respond as
Okay.
soon as possible. I respond to every anything, and I respond personally.
Yay.
Yeah. So
Awesome.
just reach out to me all the time. I'm
All
here.
right, ladies. Oh, yes, sounds fun. Yes, I agree with you, Miss Johnson. It does sound fun. So y'all go out there and check out MJ Granberry. If she's a new author to you, check her out.
Mhm.
If she's not, then spread the word, y'all. This book just came out. Book 3 dropped on July 27th. So it's fresh, it's hot. She's got an audio book coming in a couple of weeks. So y'all get out there and spread the word. We thank you so much for joining us here on Women on Word. So until next time, be amazing, be wow. All right, ladies, y'all stay on the line and we'll say good night. Bye, everybody.
Okay. Bye.